Delany wrote his rich do-gooder friends in England to not even think about sending money to the Dahomey. For the sake of humanity, he wrote. After the Dahomeans cooled off, Delany with his cook and guide William Johnson, both on horseback, started again for Abeokuta. But then a civil war all over Yoruba drove them back to Lagos. At least, Delany wrote, the climate was delightful. Every person should rise early in Africa, as the air is then coolest, freshest, and purest. The sight and the song of the numerous birds to be seen and heard produce a healthful influence upon the mental and physical system. I regularly took a dessert spoonful of a solution of the sulfate of quinine 3 times a day. Bees, ever busy on every blossom. Women with tons of beeswax laden on their heads. He saw hundreds of acres and unbroken tracts of Indian white corn. Every day, some of the boys of all sizes may be seen dashing along a road or over a plain at fearful speed on horseback. They are great vaulters and ankle springers, and boys may frequently be seen to spring from the ground whirling twice, turning 2 somersets before lighting on their feet. The houses are built of unburnt clay which hardens in the sun, covered with a beautiful thatched lawn, peculiar grass. great affection exists between husband and wife, the women mostly being restricted to household work, trading, gathering in the fields, and aiding in the carrying, whilst the men principally do the digging, planting, and chopping and other hard work. The children are also passionately beloved by their parents. They are very active. The fawn Bornu, known as the Arabian horse, is a native of Africa and raised in great numbers. Delany explores Yorubaland and its markets. All through the Yoruba country, the palm trees are cultivated, trimmed, and pruned and never cut down, except when very old. Palm nuts, turned into fragrant and deliciously rich oil, are used both for light and cooking. Mi be my answer, afifi jeje, efufu leje, yawa oyao ashe, iba oya, achalaya, achalorun. The markets, large and small, are self-organized and well run by a manager. Ilorin has 5 markets, each at one of the city's gates, and has had as many as 800 sheep at one time. When approaching the city of Ibadan, I saw in a brook where they had been let out of their cages or coops to drink and wash themselves, and saw as many as 3,000 pigeons and squabs going to the Abadan market. Delany and Johnson milled among the gleeful, noisy thousands at Ilorin's markets. But in the afternoon, when the traffic had not fully set in, they often would go out and preach to the people under the trees. At the market, women from early morn till 9 o'clock at night sold their various merchandise. As Martin browsed the market, he heard in his heart a lyrical magic in the words being spoken around him. It was music. But with an ancient heritage he did not yet know. What is the common heritage of the Yoruba spoken word and the words of the talking drum?
My name is B.C. Adeleke. I am from the Yoruba people of Nigeria, where this talking drum is originated.
Ogo Temeli says, "It is the Nomo who made it. threaded it with his fingers as children do today with string games. Spreading his hands, he passed the thread 10 times in each of his 4 fingers, the thumb not being used. He thus obtained in each hand 40 loops, which made 80 strings, the exact number of teeth in one of his jaws. His webbed hands were the skins at the 2 extremities, symbolically. To hit the drum is to hit the hands of Nomo. Delany wrote of the women in the marketplace, "They are very polite. Their language abounding in vowels, and consequently euphonious and agreeable. They are affable, sociable, tractable, seeking information with readiness, and evincing willingness to be taught with a high conception of the Supreme Being." The Yoruba language abounds in vowels and is euphonious, as Delany wrote, because it is based on a tritonal scale and is mostly defined by the tritonic scale, as do the talking drums. The hourglass drum's pitch can be regulated to mimic the tone and prosody of human speech to great complexity. It is little wonder that when an invader conquers a people in West Africa, the first thing they do is take away the talking drums and imprison their masters, because detailed messages could be sent from one village to the next faster than could be carried by a person riding a horse. William, the guide, also waded through the crowds, translating Martin's questions, as Martin admired the mangroves, the papayas, pineapples, keeping his parasol high to protect him from the brutal August sun, and sipping lemonade made of water, lemon, and a teaspoon of carbonate of soda, but he ate lightly. By dusk, it grew cooler, a new moon, and the women of the market lit their palm oil lamps, creating the brilliance of stars on an inky black, later to retire, one by one, leaving tomb-like darkness. William and Martin placed their mats right on the ground in a wooded spot. They had only seen 1 leopard, 3 tarantulas, and 2 snakes on the whole trip. Martin changed into clean clothes. They covered themselves with calico covers to rise before daybreak, to resume the final leg of their expedition to Abeokuta, where crowds would gather and rejoice. Martin rose, ate an orange, bathed from head to foot, walked out and breathed deeply the moist, cool morning air, had some coffee with cream and sweetener, and off they went. Delany and Johnson left again on October 30th for Abeokuta with its 100,000 people and was met with great joy on November 5th. Princess Tanuba had already said she had more hope of a regeneration of Africa through Dr. Delany than ever before. She had promised to place the entire management of her extensive business with her immediate household of about 60 persons and constantly employing about 360 persons, bringing her palm oil and ivory, in Dr. Delany's hands, as much advantage was taken of her by foreigners. For weeks, one meeting after another were held with cotton traders, missionaries, chiefs, Campbell and Delany discussing improving a road to Lagos, reorganizing the schools, and fixing the printing press for the only English newspaper, building trust, forging ties. Delany himself was rejoiced, speaking at the missionaries' request and praying the Almighty for providence in the challenges ahead. We would call it a memo of understanding today, signed by Delany, Campbell, King Alake, and the 7 chiefs in his council, with strong supporters Samuel and Josiah Crowther, the sons of the future Bishop Crowther, witnessing. The next day it was formally ratified, saying Egba territory could be settled by persons of color with skills from America to improve the lands if they followed the rules of the Egba people. No sooner had Delany and Campbell left to tour the territory than the virulently racist first missionary to the area, Reverend Henry Townsend, wrote letters calling the agreement invalid, pressing Alake to rescind it, calling the project civilized heathenism. Having Africans governing Africans, he railed, was not the will of God, and sinfully excluded, he ranted. The sweet natures of white English missionaries and their dear old England, the land of Christianity, commerce, and civilization. But it was a new stage of his hatred, directed at the most important supporter of the project, Reverend Samuel Crowther Sr., who would soon advance up the career ladder of missionaries that ditched Townsend and made him Bishop Crowther. Delany and Campbell stayed with a good news message to take to England when they set sail for Liverpool, to spell out this way to keep the textile mills humming with African cotton, even with a civil war, and while advancing England's colony in West Africa as a respected partner in making linens. Lecture halls were packed. Everybody wanted to know, especially Queen Victoria, who loathed the slavery. What happened over time was the Civil War did not prevent cottons from the South getting to England, being exchanged in English-controlled Barbados for Enfield rifles. There were holes in the federal blockade. Moreover, what became clear is the old tried-and-true business networks and collaborations, one all within Africa of cotton growers, dyers, weavers, and spinners, the other between England and the South, held the course. Delany and Campbell's brilliant idea could have worked, could have changed history, but was overtaken by events.
Nakabiro balakata kende kele tumengi te nyusu ya bangu.
tritonal scale and is mostly defined by the tritonic scale, consisting only of the tonic sol, fa notes do, re, mi, different inflections of which are then used to convey different messages. The same principle also applies to how the drum talks in all of Yoruba's music and culture. The hourglass's drum's pitch can be regulated to mimic the tone and the prosody of human speech. In the beginning was the Word, and that word could be sent far and wide over a relay of talking drums. That is why when an invader conquers a people in West Africa, the first thing they would do is take away the talking drums and imprison their masters. Detailed messages could be sent from one village to the next faster than could be carried by a person riding a horse. A British missionary couldn't figure out why the villagers knew he was coming. The relaying drums had already told them, "Make your feet come back the way we went. Make your legs come back the way they went. Plant your feet and your legs below in